Hello there friends, Seasons Live here. In today's video, Apex reveals how much he wants to earn in Falcons. S1MPLE might be coming back for EWC. Fallen is on the hunt for a new team, and the results of the PGL Bucharest group stage. Plus a bunch of other exciting news from the world of CS2, so without further ado, let's get straight to it. And let's kick off the video with an update on one of the biggest stories from our last episode. So, we talked about the rumors that the young Spirit Academy talent Kyousuke might be joining Falcons soon, likely replacing Teases on the roster. Well, it looks like the player is adding fuel to the fire. According to Kyousuke himself, he's already ready to make the move, and his parents fully support him. Just like when he moved to St. Petersburg with his mom. Plus, he says his English is good enough for the team comms, so this might be just one big teaser ahead of the upcoming roster shuffle. But despite the buzz, there are still some doubts about Kyousuke's move. And it starts with a recent comment from Niko. In an interview, he said he always wanted to play with m0NESY at Falcons. As for Kyousuke, it's more of a we'll see situation. Niko said he's been keeping an eye on the young talent, but doesn't really know anything about the potential transfer. But what we do know for sure is that Falcons are very interested in signing him. And Niko even said that they're not the only team trying to get him. On top of that, he added that Kyousuke reminds him a bit of himself in the early days. So, guys, if that's true, we might be looking at the rifler of FaZe era Niko's level. Things get even more interesting with Falcons' approach to roster building. So, according to insiders, most leaks come from within the org itself, which might mean that they don't actually care about the players' feelings. They've got money to burn and can swap players like it's nothing. Their main goal is to keep the hype around the lineup. Well, unless we're talking about Zonic or Magisk, because those two have the organization's full trust.
Before we move on to the next news, let me tell you about CSGO Fast, as they're turning 10 years. CSGO Fast is the oldest and most trusted website in the history of CS skin games. Feel like Gaben is unfair to you? On CSGO Fast you can open tons of profitable cases and pull that dream skin you've always wanted. They've got a huge variety of games, including intense case battles. You can even invite a friend and win together. Surely you all love raffles. CSGO Fast runs free raffles every 6 hours, giving away skins to random participants. Plus, they regularly host special events. Right now is their 10-year anniversary, just look at the prizes up for grabs. And if you're a true CS veteran, you already know the community has trusted CSGO Fast for years. That's why they have a loyalty system for regular users and a ranking system with extra bonuses. Do I even need to mention skin prices? You already know they're awesome. And if you don't want to deposit, no problem, you can always use the referral system to earn points.
Use promo code CSGO News Live to get plus 10% to your deposit and a free case. The link will be in the pinned comment. Now let's get back to young talents. Even the Gamer Legion fans are getting involved. One fan suggested that PR could be a great fit for Falcons. But Ash, the coach, quickly shut that down. He basically asked the fan not to mention his player's name in that kind of context. Two possible reasons: either he really doesn't see PR at Falcons, or more likely he's just tired of losing good players. Because, you know, over the past year and a half he had to let go of 6 talented guys that he couldn't develop further. And it's not just Gamer Legion, most tier 1.5 teams face the same issue, losing their stars during the off-season. Meanwhile, someone else is open to joining Falcons, and the name might surprise you, it's Apex, Vitality's captain. Although I have to admit, it's kind of a clickbait made by the player himself. Vitality's IGL recently revealed his conditions for making the switch to the Sheikh's team, and it's quite simple, just a spare $130,000 a month. And that's it, that's the price. Obviously, that's a ridiculous amount, even Niko and Zyvu don't make that much. So Apex probably just joking. But hey, what if Falcons fail even with Niko and m0NESY and possibly Kyousuke, and then they decide to replace their IGL? I mean, could Apex negotiate that salary? You know, ask always twice you want, so maybe he can do fit. But again, that would be just crazy. Apex also shared some light on Monis' departure from G2. He said that the Samurai are dealing with financial struggles, and on top of that, Monis just wants to play and win alongside Niko. With that in mind, there's really nothing tying him to G2 anymore. That's why basically he's not renewing the contract, and Falcons are welcoming him. But let's move on. Another IGL opened up about his own transfer, this time Siuhy, who spoke about how Liquid brought him in. Right after Siuhy joined, Teases just gave him full control and trusted him to lead the team. Siuhy also addressed their early tournament exit. He said it's because basically the signing happened last minute and the squad didn't have the time to build proper synergy. But on the bright side, it helped them to spot the problems they need to fix. When asked if being on loan adds pressure, Siuhy said that he's not too worried. The main goal is just to make the lineup work, whether the loan gets extended or not. The transfer is a separate conversation. Guys, what do you think about these roster moves? Don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments below. Meanwhile, Furia might be about to lose their captain. Yup, Fallen might be on the move again, and no, not retiring, but actually joining another team. According to the co-owner of Furia, Fallen has received a lot of offers lately, and both the team and the player are happy about that. Which sounds a little weird, right? It seemed like Imperial was supposed to be his last dance, but then he joined Furia, and now, surprise, he's still going strong and actively looking for a new destination. Which sounds crazy to me, to be honest. But anyways, I'm always pleased to see Fallen play. And you know what, my friends? It looks like another legendary opera might be finding a new home soon. And we're talking about S1MPLE. While the community and the analysts kept pushing the G2 theory, Navi dropped a cinematic teaser before the Esports World Cup that really got people talking. The video blends dream and reality in a surreal way, and at the end we see a phone ringing next to the EWC trophy, and it's S1MPLE calling. Meanwhile, there's that spinning thing in the background, a direct reference to Nolan's Inception with Leonardo DiCaprio. You know, this spinning thing helps the main character to figure out if he's dreaming or not. And the final line, "See you soon in Riyadh," seems to hint at S1MPLE's big return. S1MPLE himself responded with a bit of humor, saying that it's been almost a year and a half and he's still calling. Maybe it's just a joke, or maybe he is headed to Riyadh and he just wants to throw us off the scent. Honestly guys, I don't really know. This whole Esports World Cup thing seems like a huge show. So maybe S1MPLE will join Navi just as a mascot of some sort? You know, to play in a Dota 2 show match, I don't know. You can drop your suggestions below. Now finally, let's wrap up with the group stage results of PGL Bucharest. And yeah, this tournament definitely brought some surprises. First off, let's talk about Complexity, the biggest revelation. They lost only one match to G2, but managed to beat FaZe, Falcons and Furia. Their playoff run also came with a wholesome moment. Maui Snake promised Sigsy 12 beers if they made it to the playoffs, and he kept that promise. Which is basically a nod to the time when Sigsy famously showed up drunk to a match, and then he got kicked mid-series. That moment is stuck with the NA community ever since. Falcons were another surprise. After starting the tournament 0-2, everyone thought they were done already, including us. But the team bounced back. They won all 3 of their next matches and made it to the main event. They beat Pain, Rare Atom and the Mongols. Moreover, against the Mongols it was 0-1, and then they managed a reverse sweep. After such a comeback, fans started to believe there's still hope. Maybe this time Falcons can finally deliver. And on a side note, I just have to highlight Dagster, who alongside Niko was carrying the team. Apogee also impressed. These guys came from online CS and show that they can really hold their own on the tier 1.5 or tier 2 scene. And you know what? Their final match at Bucharest was against FaZe, with a fun twist. Apogee's mental coach is actually Kerrigan's wife. So this wasn't just a match on the edge of elimination, it was also a bit of a family showdown, where Kerrigan and his gang turned out to be stronger. Nevertheless, a great debut W for Apogee. As for Aurora, despite being one of the favorites and sticking with their full lineup, they've been shaky. The pressure from fans seems to be getting to them. They've been losing a lot of rounds that they just should have closed out, even from winning positions. And most of their games went to overtimes, which says a lot. Then we also have the Mongols, who unfortunately disappointed. After a brief rise, they are starting to fall off again. Their gameplay throughout the tournament was uncertain, and they made mistakes you wouldn't expect from them. Either this event wasn't a priority, or it's time for roster changes. Who knows? FaZe Clan, despite making it through, didn't exactly shine. They felt off, like a group of friends playing without much of a plan. Kerrigan is basically trying to hold it together, but the team might need a bit of a fresh energy or a new face in the lineup. Who knows? Astralis once again failed to perform against stronger opponents. They started the event pretty well, but once they faced tougher teams, they just fell apart. Their strats didn't land, and the players just didn't show up like they were supposed to. So who we have in the playoffs? Falcons versus Gamer Legion, 3D Max versus FaZe, Complexity versus Aurora, and G2 versus Virtus.pro. And that's all for today, my friends. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button, to follow the channel, and drop by in the comments below. Once again, thank you for watching, and I'm not saying goodbye for a long time. See you soon.